if there was a civilization of superheroes and a civilization of advanced technology humans, which one would win in a war? Today, we're gonna find out.
We start by creating the world and splitting it in
Here we go.
10 Viltrumites, with traits that accurately represent them. Genetically modified to be insanely strong, fast, and durable, with really long lifespans. 10 regular-ass humans,
die.
normal durability, normal lifespan. Overall, they're not particularly special in any way whatsoever. We start at year 1. Both civilizations create kingdoms, and while the humans can build factories to create artillery, as well as creating guns, the Viltrumites can build neither, because all they need to rely on is their brute strength. At the start, both sides look the same, just another civilization trying to survive. Cecil being the king of humans, and he was a mischievous fellow, but the Viltrumites didn't waste a second already building a house. And while I was watching them hunt their prey, killing it in one shot, I noticed that they were literally flying, and leading all the Viltrumites was Omni-Man.
Are you sure?
The strongest of them all. And the entire time I was watching them, I had to slow things down, because this is how fast they actually move.
Dude,
by year
what?
5, the humans' weakness began to show.
Okay, so if the Viltrumites are able to reproduce their population and like have children and stuff, then surely they're gonna win, right? If they can make like 1,000 of them, there's no way that they lose.
Because despite the fact they built a village, their population had nearly been cut in half because of the wildlife, taking the entire village to kill one wolf. Then the Viltrumites had their first child,
they
and at the ripe age of 1 year old, she was working in the fields. Meanwhile, Omni-Man handled a wolf like it was nothing and didn't even think twice about it. But that wasn't the end of it, because the rest of the wolf's family came back, and 30 wolves later, again he forgot about it like it was nothing. Meanwhile, the humans would have been lucky to survive that. By year 9, one of the humans split off, forming their own kingdom. But Cecil didn't seem to care. He had, other priorities.
Bro, what? Yo, dude. So that's what I thought the Viltrumites were gonna do. I thought there was gonna be like a power conflict and they might split off into different tribes and that sort of stuff. I'm surprised that the humans are doing it, especially because the humans are dying to the wildlife. And so the only strength that they could have is to stick together. But if you start splitting off when already your tribe of 10 is dying, then if you split off and make your own tribe of 1, you're way more likely to die, I feel like. I don't know why I would do that.
All that was happening, the humans were finally catching up. Guns,
okay,
explosives,
they got guns
and
already.
real weapons. Meanwhile, the Viltrumites were already organized, building faster than they needed to. They didn't need to worry about survival, so they spent their time however they wanted. Omni-Man even spending years writing, using it as a brain break. Because when you live that long, a few years doesn't mean much. The Viltrumites took their time because they could, but the humans didn't have that luxury. They were working non-stop, building mines and arming even kids with rocket launchers. But something else was also happening, as people kept moving to the new kingdom, and whatever was going on there didn't feel random. And later on, this will be a big problem for the humans. By year 50, the Viltrumites had already maxed out their population. Their cities were already built out, upgraded, and fully stocked out. But they weren't rushing, they were just getting ahead. Omni-Man was now 68 years old, still young for his kind, and somehow he just kept on getting stronger. But the humans didn't slow down, because only 50 years in, they built tanks, factories, artillery, and expanding to the north.
Dude, if they have that after 50 years, they still have 20 times that amount to develop new technology and new weapons. That's actually crazy to think about.
Or as polished as the Viltrumites, but they didn't need to be, because by now the humans outnumbered the Viltrumites 3 to 1. And that southern kingdom, it was still behind, with no tanks and no real power yet.
Are those still gonna battle? Why are they split up?
Even Cecil went to check it out himself to see what they were up against. 2 completely different worlds growing in completely different ways. As the humans continued to expand, the Viltrumites stayed stagnant. Both human civilizations were growing fast, building more, producing more factories, more weapons, and now actual trained soldiers. Although they might need more training, because while hunting wolves, they killed some of their own.
Oh my god.
But the southern kingdom took a different path. Instead of tanks, they went to the skies. Helicopters, building already 4 of them. And now space was beginning to run out on the human side.
Wait, what if this is all part of their plan, though? He did say that it's gonna backfire in the end, but that would have been a genius plan to like send another group somewhere else and they were gonna focus on the sky while we focus on the ground. It would be like the military and then the Air Force. But there's no water on this map, so they wouldn't need to do the Navy. But it's not a bad idea to have a specific group focus on a different area of attack. But it sounds like they might have some sort of war amongst themselves.
Meanwhile, the Viltrumites barely used any land they had, and instead they focused on one thing, creating the strongest fighters possible.
That's pretty
and the
smart.
stronger they got, the higher they floated. At this point, Omni-Man was basically flying above the trees. By year 96, Cecil had already outlived his time. He was already past his expiration date, and at this point he could die at any second. So he he did what he always does, and he checked up on his factories. And then something went wrong. A critical failure.
What?
A freak accident. And Cecil just walked away?
How did he get out of
Whatever
that?
happened in there, he wasn't just human anymore. And judging by this, he didn't want it. And then at year 108, something unexpected happened.
Wait. What does he mean he wasn't human anymore? What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Seems like there might have been a nuclear power plant and it exploded. And is he saying like the radiation caused a mutation to him and now he is a superhuman himself? That would be insane.
Humans and the Viltrumites formed an alliance?
What?
Led by
How?
Omni-Man, who clearly had a plan.
There's a
It
wall
seemed like
between
he
them.
was plotting something. Meanwhile, the Southern Kingdom was watching, and their king knew that space was running out, and if they wanted to grow, they would have to take it by force.
Oh my
And
God.
unlike Cecil's kingdom, the Southern Kingdom was ready.
Yo.
By year 158, they had made their move. War breaking out. The same species,
There's a
the
civil
same
war.
weapons, just on different sides. And it got ugly fast. Artillery everywhere, bullets flying, and explosions non-stop. Cecil was losing everything. I mean, look how many of his kids died.
Oh my
So he
God.
stepped in himself. But even with everything he had, it wasn't enough. And by year 160, both sides were nearly wiped out, crippled and outnumbered, and out of time. So Cecil made a choice, something that would change history forever. And he dropped a nuke. And then another.
Oh my God.
And another.
So
And
they actually do
another.
have
And
nukes.
another.
Bro, what?
5 total. And the Southern Kingdom was gone. Except for one. The king himself. And Cecil made sure to put an end to him. The war was over, but this wasn't a win. He survived, but he lost everything close to him. Cecil decided to break the alliance with the Viltrumites because they were no help. 2/3 of humanity gone. Just like that.
Bro, I didn't know they had nukes like that. I think if they have nukes, surely they win in this war. They just banged 5 nukes out there. How many more do they have? That's insane.
Used to be a kingdom, was now just ash. And while all that was happening, the Viltrumites did nothing. They didn't need to.
Well,
They were still
he capped him
thriving.
though, I
And
think.
Omni-Man just kept living his normal day-to-day life. Meanwhile, the humans had to nearly start over. By year
they're down to
226, the humans were already rebuilding, cleaning the ruins and reclaiming the land. Cecil was already planning ahead, deciding where everything would go next. Meanwhile, Omni-Man had a different focus. Up till now, he didn't see the need for an heir. Power, knowledge, and control, that's what mattered. But eventually that changed. And Omni-Man had a son, named
Mark.
Mark. Okay.
Look, I made a mistake.
and I caught Mark.
Wait, is that real? Is Omni-Man's kid actually named Mark? That's pretty hilarious. I'm assuming Omni-Man's actual name isn't Omni-Man, though. I gotta find out his real name. Nolan. See, I knew it. Nolan Grayson. Whatever reason, this video is making me want to watch Omni-Man, or whatever the show is called. He seems like a pretty cool guy.
Trying to talk to a bunny, which resulted in the bunny shitting itself. By 7 years old, Mark was already leading an entire village, because this wasn't a normal childhood. Over the next century, the Viltrumites barely changed, because they weren't evolving, they were just refining what already existed. But the humans didn't stop. From only a few hundred to now over 1,000.
Oh my
Everything
God.
they lost,
Oh
they
my.
rebuilt. Denser cities,
Look at all
more
the tanks.
factories, and more production, turning the remains of the Southern Kingdom into a new village. And at the center of it all was Cecil, the king himself, surrounded by everything, living in an unupgraded house after all these years.
I'm not seeing any helicopters though, which is pretty dumb of the humans to have blown up all of like helicopter producing factories that they had in the South, because those helicopters would probably come in handy against a society that can already fly. But it seems like the humans blew up all the facilities for the helicopters and then never got to develop it themselves. Unless they do have them and I just haven't seen them, but that's what it looks like to me.
And I guess you could say he kept growing humanity
Bruh.
one child at a time. But no matter how many he had, every loss still mattered to him. And finally, the Viltrumites expanded, their
There we
numbers
go.
exploding fast,
130.
building bigger structures, statues, and symbols of power. They studied everything, math, biology, history, but not war. Because to the Viltrumites, war wasn't something you study, it was just something that you win.
Ooh, that's
and while they
cold.
weren't growing fast, they were stacking up everything they had. Instead, the humans only had one focus. Not armors or swords, just guns. Yep. By year 500, the gap between the civilizations is
Oh my
crazy
God.
because the
That's
Viltrumites
30 to
haven't
1.
grown at all.
That's almost
Meanwhile,
30 to 1.
humanity almost has 3,000 people, and they pretty much filled the entire map with barely any room left. I don't even think they can expand anymore. And they used all that space to build even more factories and more artillery and weapons. But the problem is, I don't know if even that is enough to kill a single Viltrumite. So the humans must use the next 500 years to develop, or they will be wiped out.
But like I said, I don't really know much much about Omni-Man, but I think that he's like a melee fighter. To my understanding, he doesn't have like ranged attack, like laser vision. Maybe he has laser vision? He might have laser vision. I don't know, but he's not like Goku and he can do like Kamehameha, for example. And I feel like that would be a problem when you're going up against 30 to 1 in a war. They don't have explosives. But for example, like Goku, he could spirit bomb or Kamehameha and just bang, just blow up like 500 people at once. But if you have to individually punch 3,000 humans to death, that's a much bigger ask than being able to blow them up in one go, which is what the humans can do to the Viltrumites with their nukes. So I'm starting to really think that the humans may have the advantage here.
After all these years of being alive, I don't think Cecil cared about himself anymore. Everything he's doing is for one purpose and one purpose alone, making sure humanity survives no matter what the cost. Meanwhile, the Viltrumites, they've never faced a real threat, so instead of evolving, they just exist. And Mark, well, he's just kind of spending all his days in his house freaking gooning all day.
I am marking it so good.
The humans were forced to adapt, but the Viltrumites never had to. So now the question isn't power versus technology anymore. It's what happens when one side spends 1,000 years preparing for war, and the other side is so powerful that they never needed to. 1,000.
Here we go. Year 1,000.
The
wall's coming down, baby.
And for the first time in over a millennia, both sides finally see each other. One side
kind of
with
nervous.
raw power, and on the other, everything built to stop it.
2,067
humans didn't
humans.
hesitate, and they opened fire on sight.
Here we go.
Omni-Man didn't hesitate either, with one Viltrumite tearing through the humans' artillery.
Okay,
so
one tank
Cecil
down.
does the only thing he can.
Oh my god.
And he launches everything.
Oh my god, the nukes.
Nuclear strikes meant to end the war instantly.
Oh, we're good
and
though.
It barely works. Some Viltrumites
killed a
fell,
third of the
but
Viltrumites.
most of them don't even slow down. And just 6 years in, the difference is obvious. The Viltrumites are barely touched, and the humans are already
5
collapsing.
nukes they survived.
And somewhere in the chaos, Cecil dies.
Oh.
He didn't get a final moment, and he didn't get a last stand. He's just gone. And somewhere on the battlefield, lives are traded as the son of Omni-Man, Mark, is killed in battle as well.
Dang,
And
GG
that's
Mark.
when Omni-Man stopped holding
Yo,
back.
look-
And
oh
this
my
is the
god,
moment
look at him
the war
go.
ends. It's not when the
Bro,
humans
Omni-Man
lose,
alone just
but
destroyed
it's when
like 10
the
houses.
Viltrumites decide to take over. He brings all of them in. And in seconds, the humans' capital is erased. Whatever's left of humanity splits in multiple directions. But it's not a fight anymore. It's simply the Viltrumites cleaning up. Some humans surrender, some run, and some don't wait anymore.
Oh my
And in
god,
the
you already
end,
just jumped off the
with
map.
one last human left, he's killed by humanity's own weapons. Humanity spent 1,000 years preparing for war. Meanwhile, the Viltrumites never needed to. So I tried to end them myself, and even that barely affected them.
Bro,
in the end,
they
it was
are way
never
too
a fair
OP.
fight, because power doesn't need time, when nothing in the world is strong enough to stop it.
That was crazy. This is what I feel like would happen if aliens ever attacked us. We would just be so helpless and our nukes wouldn't even do anything to them. But boys, this was a lot of fun. If you want me to watch even more WorldBox videos, you know what to do. Leave a like, subscribe, and click right here for more.